All right, friends, we have made it to the very end of the play. We are going to finish Act 5, Scene 1 today, and then you'll know the whole story. You will see how all of these strange twists come unknotted at the end, for the most part. You'll see how all of our beloved characters end up. So I'm going to start with Viola's last speech that I read to you yesterday, because this is Viola's big reveal here. She and Sebastian kind of go back and forth, and he's like, "You look like you're related to me." And she says, she starts to give hints about who she is. But in this last speech, she reveals, or it's not her last speech, but it's the last speech that I read. So she says, "If nothing lets to make us happy both, but this my masculine usurped attire, do not embrace me till each circumstance of place, time, fortune do cohere and jump that I am Viola. Which, to confirm, I'll bring you to a captain in this town where lie my maiden weeds." Weeds is, funnily enough, a slang term for clothes. So she's saying, "We'll find my girls' clothes at the house of the captain." I'm just plugging my computer in real quick. That's why I'm hearing. Okay, wherein we will find my maiden weeds, by whose gentle help I was preserved to serve this noble count. All the occurrence of my fortune since has been between this lady and this lord, Olivia Ursino. Now, Sebastian immediately sees the humor in how this whole situation has panned out. He realizes why Olivia was in love with him when she first met him. And he turns to her laughing. "So comes it, lady, you have been mistook. But nature to her bias drew in that. You would have been contracted to a maid." He's saying you wanted to marry a girl. "Nor are you therein by my life deceived. You are betrothed both to a maid and man." So Sebastian just thinks this is hilarious that his now wife, Olivia, first fell in love with a girl version of him. So he's teasing her a bunch. Orsino also steps in and talks to Olivia, who, like, even though she doesn't have any lines right here, she's definitely reacting to this hugely, right? I mean, you can just imagine she's speechless with horror, embarrassment, confusion. I mean, this would have to be the shock of your life. So Orsino also turns to her. "Be not amazed. Right noble is his blood." So he's saying, don't feel too bad about it. He looks really noble and good. If this be so, as yet the glass seems true, I shall have share in this most happy rack. So Orsino is getting an idea for himself out of this. Maybe I could be happy too. "Boy, thou hast said to me 1,000 times thou never shouldst love woman like to me." So Orsino is remembering all those awkward conversations he and Viola had when he thought she was Cesario, and he's realizing, oh, all of those were hints that Viola was in love with me. And Viola says, "And all those sayings will I overswear, and all those swearings keep as true in soul, as doth that orbed continent the fire that severs day from night. Give me thy hand, and let me see thee in thy woman's weeds." So Orsino's like, "Let me see you in some girl clothes." "The captain that did bring me," oh, sorry, this is Viola. "The captain that did bring me first on shore hath my maid's garments. He, upon some action, is now in durance at Malvolio's suit, a gentleman and follower of my lady's." Okay, so it makes sense. I was joking about it, but it makes sense that Orsino would like to see her girl version, not her version where she's trying to make herself look all manly. And then she says, and this is just a random little plot stuck in here we never know a whole lot about, but she says that the sea captain is now in prison because Malvolio took legal action against him. So, as usual, Malvolio was in everyone's business. And so she can't actually get her clothes back yet because the captain is in prison. Olivia says, he shall enlarge him. So she's saying, I'll make him set him free. Speaking of Malvolio, in comes Feste with the letter and Fabian with him. Olivia says, fetch Malvolio hither. And yet, alas, now I remember me. They say, poor gentleman, he's much distract. That means he's going crazy. A most extracting frenzy of mine own from my remembrance clearly banished his. She feels bad because her own confusion about everything made her completely forget to check on poor Malvolio. So she asks Feste, how does he, sirrah? Truly, madam, he holds Beelzebub at the stave's end, as well as a man in his case may do. Has here writ a letter to you. I should have given it you today morning, this morning. But as a madman's epistles are no gospels, so it skills not much when they are delivered. So Feste has been putting off giving the letter because he doesn't really think it matters when you deliver a letter from a madman. Even though Feste knows he's not really mad. Open it and read it. Look then to be well edified when the fool delivers the madman. So Feste's joking. He's like, you're going to learn a lot from this letter. A fool is reading you a letter written by a madman. By the Lord, madam. How now? Art thou mad? No, madam. I do but read madness. And your ladyship will have it, as it ought to be. You must allow Vox. Okay, so you notice I read the letter. I started reading the letter in a weird voice. And Olivia's like, what, are you crazy now? Why are you reading it so weirdly? And Feste says, well, I have to get into character. I'm reading a letter from a madman, so I need to read it like I'm mad. Olivia, I imagine, rolls her eyes and hands the letter to Fabian. Gotta love Feste. Read it you, sirrah. By the Lord, madam, you wrong me, and the world shall know it. Though you have put me into darkness and given your drunken cousin rule over me, yet have I the benefit of my senses as well as your ladyship. I have your own letter that induced me to the semblance I put on, with the which I doubt not but to do myself much right, or you much shame. Think of me as you please. I leave my duty a little unthought of, and speak out of my injury. The madly used Malvolio. Okay, so this is Malvolio's letter. Some of you wrote some versions of this letter before we got to read the actual one. So Malvolio says, you have used me really terribly. I have your letter, and so I can prove that you induced me to this. You got me to do all these things, and I was just obeying you. And I can prove it to justify myself and to bring you shame. Did he write this? I, madam. Orsino puts in, this savors not much of distraction. Doesn't really sound like a crazy person wrote that, right? Maybe an angry person, but not an insane person. It makes sense, it's grammatical, all those things. See him delivered, Fabian. Bring him hither. Fabian goes off to get Malvolio. Now, Olivia turns to Orsino. It's much easier for her to talk to Orsino now that he knows she's married to someone else, and it's just a less awkward relationship. My lord, so please you, these things further thought on, to think me as well a sister as a wife, one day shall crown the alliance on it, so please you, here at my house and at my proper cost. Now, you might not have caught this, but Olivia says, I want you to be able to think of me as a sister instead of as a wife, which seems weird for a second. But do you know what she's suggesting? She is suggesting that he get married to Viola here at her house and at her cost. And that would make her his sister-in-law because they'd both be married to one of the twins. So she's hinting, we can get everything set up for you. Madam, I am most apt to embrace your offer. Then he turns to Viola. Your master quits you, and for your service done him, so much against the mettle of your sex, so far beneath your soft and tender breeding, and since you called me master for so long, here's my hand. You shall from this time be your master's mistress. So he says, you did this job for me that was so far below who you are. You're of noble birth. And it was so against what a girl would be expected to do in his society. And he says, you've called me master for so long. Now I'm going to call you mistress, the female version of master. Olivia is so excited. A sister? You are she. Remember, Olivia's been all alone. All her family is dead and gone. And honestly, this might be my favorite moment in the play. A sister. Because I always just want Olivia and Viola to be friends. And I know some of you have been saying that too. Some of you were saying a good solution to Viola and Olivia's awkwardness would be for Viola to just admit to Olivia, and then they could be friends and help each other out. So now they finally have everything cleared up and they can just be friends. Now, after that lovely moment, we have Malvolio enter, and he's very distressed and very angry. Is this the madman? Aye, my lord, this same. How now, Malvolio? Madam, you have done me wrong, notorious wrong. Have I, Malvolio? No. She's right. She really hasn't done wrong by him. She did forget about him for a little bit and leave him with Sir Toby, but she didn't do anything bad to him. But he thinks she did. Lady, you have. Pray you peruse that letter. You must not now deny it is your hand. Again, hand is being used to mean handwriting here. So he's handing the letter that Maria wrote. Write from it if you can, in hand or phrase, or say 'tis not your seal, not your invention. You can say none of this. Well, grant it then, and tell me, in the modesty of honor, why you have given me such clear lights of favor. So he says, you can't deny this is your handwriting and you wrote it. So just admit it and explain to me why you gave me all these signs of favor, of love. Why bade me come smiling and cross-gartered to you, to put on yellow stockings and to frown upon Sir Toby and the lighter people. And, acting this in an obedient hope, why have you suffered me to be imprisoned, kept in a dark house, visited by the priest, and made the most notorious geck and gull that e'er invention played on? Tell me why. Alas, Malvolio, this is not my writing, though I confess much like the character, but out of question 'tis Maria's hand. And now I do bethink me, it was she first told me thou wast mad, then camest in smiling, and in such forms which here were presupposed upon thee in the letter. So she's connecting things. She's saying, this is Maria's handwriting. And now that I think of it, Maria was the first one to tell me that you were mad. Prithee, be content. This practice hath most shrewdly passed upon thee. But when we know the grounds and authors of it, thou shalt be both the plaintiff and the judge of thine own cause. So Olivia says, please just be at peace. Let's figure out what happened, and you can be the judge of your own situation. We'll decide what to do. Now Fabian comes forward. He kind of rats everyone out. Good madam, hear me speak, and let no quarrel nor no brawl to come taint the condition of this present hour, which I have wondered at. In hope it shall not, most freely I confess, myself and Toby set this device against Malvolio here, upon some stubborn and uncourteous parts we had conceived against him. Maria writ the letter at Sir Toby's great importance, in recompense whereof he hath married her. Toby and Maria are married. They secretly got married. How, with a sportful malice it was followed, may rather pluck on laughter than revenge, if that the injuries be justly weighed that have on both sides passed. Okay, so Fabian does just tell on all of them, but I think he is trying to do the right thing by them because if they hide it further, they could get in further trouble. So obviously the biggest news in there is that Sir Toby married Maria because he loved the prank so much, which is it's so Toby, isn't it? um and then Fabian also puts in a word saying it was revenge, so I think we can all agree that everyone has paid equally and no one needs to be punished. Olivia feels bad for Malvolio being so foolish. She says, "Alas, poor fool, how have they baffled thee? Why, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrown upon them. I was one, sir, in this interlude. One Sir Topaz, sir. But that's all one." Feste admits his role in it, too. "By the Lord, fool, I am not mad. But do you remember? Madam, why laugh you at such a barren rascal? And you smile not, he's gagged." And thus the whirligig of time brings in his revenges. So Feste says, I was part of it too, but remember how you told Olivia that you didn't think she should have me around? Well, I was getting my own revenge. "I'll be revenged on the whole pack of you." And Malvolio stalks off. "He hath been notoriously abused. Pursue him, entreat him to peace. He hath not told us of the captain yet. When that is known, and golden time convents, a solemn combination shall be made of our dear souls." So he's saying, as soon as we get to get the captain out of prison and talk to him, the two of us, Viola and myself, can get married. Meantime, sweet sister, we will not part from hence. Cesario, come, for so you shall be while you are a man. But when in other habits you are seen, Orsino's mistress and his fancy's queen. And everyone leaves. So Orsino's like, I'm still going to call you Cesario until I see you as a girl, and then I'll call you Viola. It's kind of amusing. Then they all leave, but Feste, just bit my tongue. And instead of me trying to sing Feste's song, I'm actually going to link you to the ending of my favorite movie version of Twelfth Night, which I would highly recommend to you. And you can listen to Feste sing this last song that goes to the next page. And you can see they show the wedding happening in the very end of the scene. So it's kind of a nice little way to wrap up the story. Well, I really hope that you liked Twelfth Night. I think it's just hilarious and so much fun. You guys seem to do a great job of following along and listening and reading, even during distance learning, which I know has been hard. Honestly, I so wish that it had been any other book than Twelfth Night, because I just think Twelfth Night is so fun to study in person. But you've worked hard and you've done great things. And I'm just so thankful to have been able to share this story with you. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.